Boris Johnson's vaccine strategy gets another boost, while Europe confronts fresh problems. London CNN. Boris Johnson didn't have a good start to the pandemic. The United Kingdom still has one of the world's worst coronavirus mortality rates and is near the top of the table in total infections and deaths. Truly the COVID capital of Europe. Critics have blamed this on several errors made early on, from going into lockdown too late and making a mess of testing to fool government communications. However, of late, Johnson's fortunes appear to have turned. On Monday, the Prime Minister was able to reveal a roadmap that would take England out of the lockdown before the end of June. Johnson would not have been able to deliver this good news had the UK's vaccine rollout not gone so remarkably well to date. As things stand, the UK has administered more than 18.5 million doses, or 27 per 100 people. Compare this to other European giants like France and Germany, who have each managed only 6 per 100, and a very favorable narrative emerged for Johnson. The UK, no longer a member of the European Union, opted not to work with its European partner in procuring or approving vaccines. As a result, it was able to negotiate a contract and approve vaccines for use more quickly. If you want a single demonstration of why Brexit was important, you've got it. If you were still in the EU now, some people would be dead who are not. It's nothing to crow about, it's just true, said David Davis, a veteran lawmaker and former Brexit secretary. There are other reasons the UK got ahead, not least Johnson's massive spending spree when it comes to procuring vaccines. Of the 357 million vaccines the UK has purchased, the largest contract by far is with British Swedish drug maker AstraZeneca, whose vaccine was developed in partnership with Oxford, Britain's oldest university, and Johnson's alma mater. The bet on Oxford and AstraZeneca paid off spectacularly, and the UK was the first country to authorize the vaccine for use in all adults. So proud was Brit of their homegrown vaccine that Paul Williams, a GP and former opposition lawmaker, tweeted that the patient had turned down vaccines from Pfizer, saying they would wait for the English one. Johnson and his government, though proud of the AstraZeneca vaccine to the extent officials confirmed to CNN, it considered plastering a Union Jack on our buyers, have publicly encouraged the Brits to accept any vaccines offered by their doctor. It's a different story on the other side of the channel, where the European Union was slower to authorize the vaccines for use, then wages a war of words with AstraZeneca over delays in supply in late January. As the spot overheated, some European leaders went as far as publicly casting doubt on the effectiveness of the vaccine. French French President Emmanuel Macron described the AstraZeneca vaccine as quasi-infective in older people, saying the first result was not increasing for those over 60 to 65 years old. The claims was disputed by multiple scientists. The day before, German officials declined to authorize the vaccine for use in people over 65, citing a lack of sufficient data for that age group in the drug makers' trials. France, Spain, Italy, and others followed suit, limiting authorization of the vaccine to younger segments of the population. But this week, Scottish scientists published new research showing that AstraZeneca's vaccine reduced the overall risk of being admitted to a hospital by up to 94% 4 weeks after having a single dose, and that one shot was highly effective in preventing hospitalization in all elderly populations too. The study not only further vindicated the UK's authorization of the vaccine for all adults, but also its strategy of delaying second doses in order to provide the first partial protection to as many people as possible. Now, European regulators are reconsidering their restrictions on who can get the shot. France's health ministry told CNN on Wednesday that it was is likely to extend its AstraZeneca vaccine age range guideline in the wake of the Scottish study. But the crisis over delayed vaccine supply continues in Europe. One EU official told Reuters on Tuesday that AstraZeneca had informed the bloc it would only be able to deliver less than half of the effective doses in the second quarter. There are also fears that the EU's bruising public battle with AstraZeneca has undermined the confidence in the vaccine, and the signs that some European countries appear to be struggling to convince their citizens to take a shot. The spokesman for German Chancellor Angela Merkel took the extraordinary step of tweeting that the AstraZeneca vaccine is both safe and highly effective earlier this week, following reports that Germans were turning it down. Germany has administered just 15% of its available AstraZeneca shot, according to the health ministry, partly because the country is only administering it to people under 65, and most of those eligible for vaccination at this point are older. To solve this issue, Germany has reworked its vaccination schedule and it will start vaccinating teachers sooner. But some also see the AstraZeneca vaccine as a lower quality shot because of its slightly lower efficacy rate compared to other authorized vaccines. It's extremely warning. Any doubt in the confidence of vaccines means the potential needs for the conflict overhaul in your rollout strategy. And during a pandemic, you are in a constant battle to keep public confidence high, said Kathleen Kluver Ashbrook, executive director of the Project on Europe and the Transatlantic Relationship at Harvard Kennedy School. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, while admitting her own failure on Europe's vaccine rollout, has suggested that while the UK had moved faster, it had done so irresponsibly and put its own citizens at risk. Yes, Europe left it later, but it was the right decision. I remind you that the vaccine is the injection of the active biological substance into a healthy body. We are talking about mass vaccination here. It's a gigantic responsibility, she said in early February. This week, however, von der Leyen rushes to vocally support the AstraZeneca vaccine, saying she would take it without a second thought. Boris Johnson has kept relatively quiet through it all, content to enjoy a propaganda win over the EU at a time when other problems were mounting at home, not, not least disruptions in trade due to Brexit. Rewind 12 months. If you told if you told Johnson that if you rubbed a lamp, a genie would pop out and hand him a world-class vaccine made by the University of Oxford, which the French president and senior German officials would incorrectly cast doubt on. He'd bite his hands off, said Rob Ford, professor of politics at the University of Manchester. Even better, the EU criticized you for acting fast, only to fall far behind. Johnson couldn't have written this script himself. Some European officials were battled over why EU leaders would publicly bash a vaccine that the continent will rely on to put a stop to the pandemic. While we don't while they don't particularly care about perceptions of the EU in Britain, they are worried at any loss of confidence among EU citizens in the vaccine program and the implications for public health. The EU likes being the reasonable, sensible voice in the world stage. Criticizing the UK and the Oxford vaccine has made them look not in control. It was a huge error. The only explanation I can think of is that they panicked after Europe's rollout hadn't lived up to the hype, said the European diplomat based in Brussels. It would It would have been not only better for the vaccine rollout plan to know what we are actually dealing with, but better for our morale if if they'd been more transparent from the start, said Mohammed Chahim, a Dutch member of European Parliament who sits on the Public Health Committee. Casting doubts on the efficacy of the vaccine and pointing fingers at the UK doesn't help anything. Europe's vaccine mess, of course, is helpful for Johnson as he tries to move Britain into what he hopes will be the final page of the pandemic. The cultural differences in bureaucracy are being laid bare for the public. The EU is obsessed with rules, is inflexible, and struggles to adapt to events in real time. The UK has been better at that this time, says Ford. The government screwed up large parts of the pandemic. But if the end of the lockdown comes faster than the rest of Europe, that's probably what the public will remember. A British success story.